Hi. So I'm supposed to say something encouraging, but instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you a passage that we would have been reading together had we met today for Bible study. So obviously, we're not going to be able to do that, but I'm going to read this passage anyway. It's from Luke chapter 6. There's this Luke chapter 6, and we would have been reading verse 43 onwards together. So here it goes. Verse 43. No good tree bears bad fruit, nor does a bad tree bear good fruit. Each tree is recognized by its own fruit. People do not pick figs from thorn bushes or grapes from briars. The good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and the evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For out of the overflow of his heart, his mouth speaks. I wonder what you make of this. It starts talking about, trees bearing different types of fruit. If it's a good tree, it can't bear bad fruit, and the bad tree can't bear good fruit. And you can recognize this type of tree by its fruit. And then it talks about different types of fruit. You can't get the fig from the thorn bushes. You can't get the grapes from the briars. But then he moves to talking about people, about these good things that comes out of the good that's stored inside someone's heart, and conversely, evil things out of this evil man's heart. And it ends with this overflow, almost as if you can't help it. Whatever is inside your heart, you will do it, you will speak it, you will think it. It will just be obvious. You'll just come out. So, what do you think this passage is talking about? Well, on one hand, it could be talking very sensibly, very logically about how people can be seen by their actions, perhaps. This fruit business, it's talking about how you can recognize someone's actions and tell that person's nature by their actions. A good tree should bear good fruit, and a bad tree, can't help it, it will bear bad fruit. And it's talking about, again, the good man, doing good things out of his heart. And in a very worrying way, it's almost like saying, oh, there are good people and bad people. The good people do good things, the bad people do bad things. But I think it's not as simple as that, because it ends with talking about this overflow, almost as if they can't hide it. If a person is of a certain nature, of a certain character, they can't help it. They will say something, they'll do something that will reveal that nature very naturally. And Jesus is almost asking us to be able to recognize it. Well, firstly, maybe in the people around us, but I suspect more so in ourselves. How actually the things that we do, you know, which we might be very ashamed of. Today the Prime Minister, he just came on 10 minutes ago talking about how some of the things we've been doing are really, really disappointing. And we might say, oh, it's a mistake, or we might say, oh, it's just those people. But actually, if we're honest with ourselves, the things that we do often reveal and surprise us as to the kind of people whom we are. Oftentimes the things that I do surprise me because I think I'm doing this good thing, and I think, oh, I must be a good person. But oftentimes, if I'm honest, I recognize that, oh, the overflow of my heart, I see lots of really evil things, really bad things, really horrible things that surprise me. They don't surprise God because He can recognize them, He sees them, but He wants us to see them. He wants us to recognize them through our actions, of course, but then to almost be able to see into our hearts. What does God see? When He sees not just our actions, but our hearts, not just our the good things that you are doing. I know many of you are doing amazing things, you're serving people, but maybe those motivations even behind those good things, so-called good things that we are doing. God sees our hearts, and God sees the need for the forgiveness of our hearts, and God offers it through Jesus Christ. I'm sure there's a lot more there that I probably didn't get out of it. This is really just a cursory reading. Again, I wish we could be reading this together, get more out of this, but here it is. This is the passage that we would have read today. Maybe you have something more that you noticed you could share with us, but this is just what I got from today's passage. Well, for those of you, I just want to say that for those of you who are, serving today in the hospital, who are going in a sense, serving all of us by being there and meeting the needs of the patients, we are praying for you. Thank you so much Please keep looking to God, keep trusting in Him, and knowing that He is good, He is sovereign, He's always gracious, and He is Lord of all. Um, well, take care, and God bless.